For a long time, the galaxy believed Earth was nothing more than a rumor. Old star maps showed an empty region of space. Ancient records spoke of a quiet system with one blue planet, but no proof ever remained. Many thought the planet was destroyed long ago. Others believed it never existed at all. But now, the signal had appeared. Far beyond the core worlds, an alien observation fleet drifted in silent formation. Their ships were smooth and bright, built with technology refined over thousands of years. They belonged to the Virex Union, a powerful alliance known for exploration and control. At the center of the fleet, Commander Thrall watched the main display. A small blue dot pulsed on the screen. "Confirm the coordinates," Thrall said calmly. The navigation officer checked again. Then again, his 4 eyes narrowed in confusion. "The signal matches the Forbidden Zone, Commander," he replied. "This location, it should be empty." Thrall leaned forward. "But it is not." The signal was simple. Too simple. It repeated every few seconds. No language. No greeting. No code that demanded attention. Just a pulse. A quiet heartbeat in the dark. "Primitive beacon?" one officer asked with a low laugh. "After all this time?" Another officer shook her head. "No. Primitive worlds scream into space. They leak noise. This signal is controlled." That word made the command deck fall silent. Controlled signals were dangerous. The fleet adjusted course and moved closer. As the distance closed, long-range scanners activated. Data streamed across the displays. Atmosphere detected. Liquid water confirmed. Oxygen-rich environment. A life-bearing planet, the science officer said. Earth, the legend were true. Soft laughter spread across the deck. "So this is it?" an officer said. "The world that hid from the galaxy? It looks weak." Thrall did not laugh. The planet on the screen looked calm. Blue oceans, white clouds, green land, no massive orbital stations, no glowing defense rings, no visible fleets guarding it. It looked peaceful, too peaceful. "Scan for satellites," Thrall ordered. The science officer hesitated. "Commander, there are many." "How many?" "Thousands. But they are old, very old." The laughter faded. "Old," Thrall repeated. "How old?" The officer swallowed. "Some are newer, but others date back thousands of cycles. Some even older than our earliest space age." That made no sense. A species that advanced slowly left signs. Ruins, broken orbits, radiation scars. Earth showed none of that. Instead, its space was clean, ordered, silent. The fleet moved closer still. That was when the first warning appeared. A low hum passed through the ships. Lights flickered for a fraction of a second. "Report," Thrall said sharply. "Minor fluctuation," the engineer replied. "Probably interference from the system star." "Compensate." The hum returned. This time, it lasted longer. On the main display, the signal changed. It slowed. The pulse grew heavier, deeper, like something had noticed them. The science officer's voice trembled. "Commander, the signal origin is not on the planet." Thrall's eyes narrowed. "Explain." "It's everywhere," the officer said. "The signal is woven into the system. The asteroids, the magnetic field, even the space between planets." A weapon, someone thought, but no weapon they knew worked like this. "Is it active?" Thrall asked. "Yes," the officer replied, "but it was dormant until now." The fleet crossed an invisible line. Every ship's display went dark for exactly 1 second. Then they came back online. The bridge erupted with alarm tones. Navigation offline. Engine response delayed. External sensors failing. "Status," Thrall shouted. "We are not under attack," the tactical officer said slowly. "No weapons fire. No energy spikes." "Then why can't we move?" The engineer's voice was tight. "Because something is holding us." The fleet was frozen. Not damaged. Not destroyed. Stopped. Thrall stared at the planet on the screen. Earth had not fired a single shot. Had not sent a single message. And yet, The most advanced fleet in the sector could not move. Across the galaxy, observers watched in disbelief. Trade stations paused their broadcasts. Military command centers leaned closer to their screens. Old empires felt something cold settle in their cores. This was no accident. This was design. "Commander," the science officer whispered, "I am detecting structures." "Where?" "Hidden, cloaked, everywhere." Images slowly formed on the display. Massive shapes, ancient shapes, not shining, not new, but vast. They surrounded the system like sleeping giants. Defense platforms, containment fields, machines older than galactic law itself. One by one, the structures powered up, not with violence, with certainty. The signal changed again. This time it carried meaning, not words, intent, a message without sound. "You've been seen." Thrall felt something he had not felt in centuries. Fear. Earth still remained silent, but the galaxy understood now. Humanity had never been hiding because it was weak. Humanity had been hiding because it was waiting. And the moment the signal awakened, the galaxy realized a terrible truth. This was not first contact. This was the beginning of judgment. Silence filled the command deck, not the calm silence of space, but a heavy one, the kind that pressed on the mind. Commander Thrall stood motionless, watching the blue planet on the main screen. Earth did not glow. It did not change. It did not react. Yet the fleet could not move. "Run engine diagnostics again," Thrall ordered. The engineer obeyed. His hands moved fast, almost shaking. "Engines are intact," he reported. "Power level stable. No damage. No locks detected." "Then why are we still frozen?" Thrall asked. The engineer hesitated. "Because there is no force acting on us. Something has changed the space around us." That answer made the bridge quiet again. Space itself was not supposed to behave like that. The tactical officer checked weapon systems. "All weapons are offline. Commander." "Not disabled." Paused, as if the system is waiting. "Waiting for what?" someone whispered. Before Thrall could answer, a new alert appeared. "External observation detected." "Observation?" Thrall repeated. "From where?" The science officer zoomed the display outward. At first, nothing appeared. Then, slowly, the darkness shifted. Massive shapes began to emerge, not moving, but revealing themselves, like shadows deciding to exist. They were not ships. They were structures. Enormous frameworks built around the system's gravity wells. They were positioned with impossible precision, not random, not defensive in the usual sense. They were control points. "These structures," the science officer said softly, "they predate known galactic architecture." "How long?" Thrall asked. The officer took a long breath. "Possibly tens of thousands of cycles. Maybe more. That was older than most empires. Older than wars. Older than alliances. Older than history as the galaxy knew it. And they all belonged to one system. Earth. Across the galaxy, panic spread. The Virex Union's live feed was no longer private. Other powers had tapped into it. Quietly at first, then openly, observers from ancient empires watched the frozen fleet. They recognized something terrible. This was not a trap made in fear. This was a prison made by confidence. Back on the command deck, Thrall straightened his posture. "Open all channels," he ordered. "Send a peaceful greeting to the planet." The communications officer nodded and began transmitting. "This is Commander Thrall of the Virex Union," he said clearly. "We come in peace. We seek communication." No response. Again the message was sent. Still nothing. The planet remained quiet. "That signal," the science officer said. "It is changing again." The pulse slowed further. Each beat felt heavier than the last. Then something unexpected happened. One ship, far at the edge of the fleet, began to move, just slightly. "Commander!" the engineer shouted. "Ship 9 is drifting. Can it escape?" Thrall asked. "No," the engineer replied. "It's not escaping. It's being repositioned." The ship rotated gently, like a leaf in water. Then it stopped, perfectly aligned. Moments later, every ship in the fleet adjusted, slowly, carefully, until they all faced the same direction. Earth. None of this caused damage. That was what made it terrifying. Whoever controlled this system did not need force. They needed permission, and they did not ask. The tactical officer swallowed. "Commander, this is not a weapon system." "What is it, then?" Thrall asked. The officer met his eyes. "It's law enforcement." That word echoed. Law enforcement implied rules. Rules implied history. And history implied that others had broken those rules before. A new signal finally appeared on the communications display. Not audio, not visual, a data structure. Simple, clean, perfect. The science officer decoded it slowly. "It's a record," she said. "A warning archive." "Show it," Thrall said. Images filled the screen. Star systems, burned out. Fleets, frozen like statues. Civilizations, reduced to silence. Each image carried a single marker. Violation. What violation? Thrall asked. The data responded instantly. Unauthorized entry. Aggressive observation. Weaponized curiosity. Thrall's breath slowed. This system had rules. And the galaxy had ignored them for a very long time. Another line appeared. Earth is a protected world. Protected by whom? Before anyone could ask, a final image formed. Not a human face. Not a symbol. Just a date. Ancient. Older than the Virex Union. Older than most known species. Then, at last, a message appeared in simple universal translation. "You are not under attack. You are being evaluated." The fleet's internal systems unlocked just enough for communication. Thrall did not hesitate. "This is Commander Thrall," he said. "We acknowledge your authority. We request dialogue." The reply came instantly, not from Earth, from the space around it. Dialogue comes later. First comes understanding. The structures around the system glowed faintly. Not bright, not aggressive, just awake. Across the galaxy, leaders began issuing silent orders. Do not approach Earth. Do not provoke. Do not interfere. Because everyone understood now. Humanity had not joined the galaxy because it did not need to. The galaxy had only been allowed to exist. And the fleet that could not move had just reminded everyone of that truth. The fleet remained still. Time passed, but it did not feel normal. Seconds stretched. Sensors showed no drift, no decay, no change in position. Space itself seemed to be holding its breath. Commander Thrall sat in his command chair, hands folded, eyes fixed on the glowing shapes around the system. The ancient structures were fully visible now. They did not shine with power. They did not threaten. They simply existed. "Begin passive analysis," Thrall ordered. "No active scans. I don't want to provoke anything." The science officer nodded. "Already doing so, Commander." Data flowed slowly. The structures were not built from standard alloys. They were layered, materials inside materials, each one reacting differently to gravity, time, and energy. Some layers bent light, others bent probability itself. "These are not machines," the science officer whispered. "They are concepts made solid." Thrall did not ask what that meant. He already felt the answer. Across the galaxy, ancient archives were being opened. Old empires searched records they had not touched in centuries. Some found nothing. Others found fragments, half-burned files, broken star maps, erased warnings. One phrase appeared again and again, written in different forms, in different languages. "Do not disturb the silent world." Most had thought it was a myth. Now the myth was watching them. Back at the fleet, a new data stream unlocked. Not a message, a history. Images showed a younger galaxy, violent, crowded, unstable. Species rose and fell quickly. Wars burned entire regions of space. Then a small yellow star appeared. Earth. In the recording, the planet was not advanced. No fleets, no megastructures, just a growing species struggling to survive. But the next image changed everything. Human ships, primitive by today's standards, leaving their system. They did not conquer. They observed, they learned, and they returned home. "What is this?" Thrall asked. The science officer's voice shook. "It's a record of first expansion. Humanity reached the stars before many of us." "But we never encountered them," the tactical officer said. "No," the science officer replied, "because they left." The images continued. Humanity exploring the galaxy, watching its chaos, measuring its cruelty. Then came the turning point. A war, a galaxy-wide collapse, weapons that erased stars. In the middle of it all, human fleets did something no one expected. They withdrew. They sealed their borders. They hid their paths. They erased themselves from history. Not because they were losing, because they were learning. "This is impossible," Thrall said quietly. "Why would a species capable of this disappear?" The answer came in the next image. Human engineers building systems not meant for war, but for control, fields that froze fleets without damage, structures that rewrote local physics, signals that watched everything without being seen. They didn't want to rule the galaxy, the science officer said. They wanted to survive it. And to survive the galaxy, humanity had decided something radical. The galaxy could not be trusted. Back in the present, Earth remained silent, but its defenses spoke clearly. A new line of data formed on the screen. Humanity Protocol, Steward Mode. Thrall read it slowly. Steward of what? The answer appeared. Galactic stability. The structures around the system shifted slightly, not threatening, just adjusting. The science officer gasped. "Commander, these systems don't just protect Earth. What do they protect?" Thrall asked. She looked up, eyes wide. "They protect everyone." Images of past conflicts appeared again, each one ending the same way. Human systems intervened. Fleets froze. Weapons failed. Wars ended without victory. Then humanity vanished again. They did not take credit. They did not demand tribute. They simply prevented extinction. "The galaxy has been alive this long," Thrall said slowly, "because they allowed it." A new message appeared. Simple, clear. Power was never the point. Control was. At last, Earth spoke. Not with a voice, not with an image, with a single question. "Why did you come?" Thrall stood. For the first time in his career, he did not speak as a commander. He spoke as a species. "We were curious," he said. "We sought knowledge. We did not believe the warnings." The response came after a pause. A long one. Curiosity built the galaxy. Curiosity also destroyed it once. The structures dimmed slightly. "You are not guilty, but you are not ready." Across the galaxy, leaders felt the weight of those words. Not ready for what? The answer followed. Humanity is returning to the stars. Thrall's heart tightened. "Returning?" he asked. The final message appeared. "This time we will not hide." Earth remained calm, but the galaxy shook. Because everyone understood now. Humanity had not been hiding because it feared the galaxy. Humanity had been hiding because the galaxy was not ready to be judged by it. The message spread faster than any ship could travel. Humanity is returning to the stars. Across the galaxy, silence followed. Then fear. On distant worlds, leaders stared at their displays. Old admirals felt their hands tremble. Scholars who once laughed at the silent world legends now avoided each other's eyes. Earth was no longer a rumor. It was a decision. In the frozen fleet near Earth, Commander Thrall felt the weight of every watching civilization. His ships were still locked in place, perfectly still, held by forces beyond understanding. "Commander," the science officer said softly, "galactic channels are exploding. Everyone is watching us." Thrall nodded. "Then we represent more than ourselves now." The ancient structures around the system shifted again. This time, the movement was visible even without sensors. Massive rings of hidden machinery aligned with perfect grace. Lines of light traced patterns through space, like a map being drawn in real time. The galaxy watched. For the first time, the structures transmitted openly, not as a threat, as a demonstration. A nearby empty region of space was highlighted. No planets, no ships, nothing living. A single marker appeared. Observation zone. Then space folded. Not violently. Not loudly. Reality bent inward for a moment, and then returned to normal. Where the empty region had been, nothing remained. No debris. No radiation. No echo. Just absence. Gasps echoed across command centers light years away. That region, an alien strategist whispered somewhere in the galaxy, it was erased without force. Back near Earth, Thrall stared in disbelief. That was not destruction, he said slowly. The science officer nodded. It was removal. Clean. Precise. The message followed immediately. This is not a weapon. This is a safety measure. Across the galaxy, fear turned into understanding. Humanity did not fight wars. They ended them before they began. The structures dimmed again, as if the demonstration had cost them nothing at all. Another message appeared. Humanity does not seek rule. We seek balance. But balance enforced by power was still power. And the galaxy had just seen how deep that power went. On the bridge, the tactical officer whispered, "If they wanted us gone, we would already be gone." "Yes," Thrall replied. "That is the most terrifying part." A new signal activated within the fleet. Movement returned. Slowly, carefully. Ships were released one by one. Like animals being freed from a trap they never understood. Engines responding. The engineer said, "Navigation online." Thrall did not order retreat. He waited. Earth's presence felt patient, as if humanity had all the time in the universe. Finally, one last transmission appeared, this time directed only at the fleet. "You will leave. You will tell others what you saw. And you will not return uninvited." Thrall bowed his head. "We understand," he said. The fleet turned away from Earth, moving slowly, respectfully. As they crossed the invisible boundary, the ancient structures faded back into darkness. Earth returned to silence. But the galaxy did not. Emergency councils were called. Treaties were paused. Wars were quietly canceled. Entire invasion plans were erased in minutes. Not because humanity demanded it, but because no one dared risk their attention. In one ancient empire, a ruler asked a simple question: why reveal themselves now? An old advisor answered with a voice full of fear: because something worse may be coming, and they want the galaxy stable when it arrives. That thought spread like fire. If humanity, the silent guardian, was stepping forward, then the future was not peaceful. Back on Earth, deep beneath oceans and mountains, systems that had slept for ages fully awakened. Human fleets were not launched. They were unlocked. Shipyards that had never been seen opened quietly. Vessels designed long, before current empires, were built powered up. Not thousands. Not millions. Enough. The galaxy watched strange signals appear. Human signatures moving beyond their system for the first time in ages. Exploration vessels. Observers. Stewards. Commander Thrall's fleet reached safe distance and jumped to hyperspace. As the stars stretched around him, he allowed himself a single thought. Humanity was not angry, not vengeful, which meant if the galaxy ever truly angered them, there would be no warning. And somewhere, far behind him, Earth remained quiet, watching, waiting. The galaxy did not sleep. After the fleet escaped Earth's system, no world truly rested. Stars still burned, ships still traveled, but something had changed. A quiet fear moved through every empire. Humanity had spoken without anger. That made it worse. In the grand assembly of the Court Dominion, rulers gathered in silence. No banners, no pride, only screens filled with paused images from the Virex fleet's recordings. The empty space that had been removed, the frozen ships, the ancient structures.
"They could have erased us," one ruler said quietly. "And they did not." Another answered, "That means we were not the threat." The room grew colder. "If we are not the threat," the ruler continued, "then what is?" Far from the assembly halls, near the edge of known space, something old stirred. Deep space sensors, human sensors, noticed first. Then others began to notice strange shadows between stars. Humanity noticed everything. Back near Earth, Commander Thrall's fleet arrived at a neutral relay station. Thousands of ships from different species already hovered there, waiting for what humans would say next. Thrall stood before a wide chamber of leaders, generals, and scholars. He did not stand as a victor. He stood as a messenger. You saw what we saw. Thrall said. You felt what we felt. Earth is protected. Humanity is awake. A murmur spread. Are they hostile? A delegate asked. No, Thrall replied. That is the danger. They are calm. As if summoned by his words, the relay station lights dimmed. Every screen activated at once. Not hacked, not forced, invited. A single symbol appeared. Simple, human. Then a voice spoke, clear, calm, and unmistakably real. This is humanity. The chamber froze. We speak to all listening civilizations, the voice continued. Not as rulers, not as conquerors. The image changed. A human figure appeared, not armored, not grand, just standing. Still, we have watched your galaxy grow, the voice said. We have seen its beauty and its cruelty. Images followed. Wars, refugees, burning worlds. We withdrew long ago, the voice continued, because we learn a hard truth. Power invites challenge. Silence invites patience. The image shifted again. Human structures maintaining balance. Quiet interventions. Saved systems that never knew they were saved. We did not hide because we were afraid. The voice said. We hid because the galaxy was not ready. A pause. Now it had the galaxy's full attention. There is something coming, humanity said. No drama. No raised tone. Just fact. Something older than your empires. Something that does not negotiate. Something that consumes. The chamber filled with uneasy movement. Long before your histories, the voice continued, it erased civilizations that rivaled even us. The image darkened. We survived because we learned restraint. Another pause. You will hear rumors. You will see signs. You may already have. Some leaders felt a chill. They had. This is our warning. Humanity said, not a command. The human figure looked directly outward. Stop your wars. End your expansions. Strengthen your worlds. Protect your people. The voice remained calm. Because when it arrives, chaos will feed it. The message did not end there. We will stand, humanity said. We always have. A faint change entered the voice. Something close to emotion. But we will not stand alone. The image changed once more. Human ships, old, powerful, silent, moving into deep space, not attacking, positioning. You are free to ignore this warning, humanity said. We will not force unity. A final pause, but understand this. The chamber leaned forward. If you choose war over survival, we will choose survival without you. The screens went dark. No threats, no countdowns, no demands. Just a line drawn with perfect clarity. In the days that followed, the galaxy changed. Border conflicts faded. Fleet movements slowed. Weapons research shifted to defense. Some empires resisted. They always did. But many listened. In hidden places beyond charts and maps, ancient signals grew stronger. Human observers tracked them calmly. Humanity had prepared for this moment long ago. Back on Earth, children still played. Cities still lived. The planet remained peaceful. But now the galaxy knew. Earth was not the center of power. It was the center of responsibility. Commander Thrall looked out at the stars from his ship's window. They warned us, he whispered. And for the first time, the galaxy understood. Humanity was not terrifying because of what it could destroy. Humanity was terrifying because of what it chose to protect. The galaxy listened. Some did so with fear. Some with hope. Some with doubt. But no one ignored the warning. Across thousands of systems, old conflicts slowed. Border fleets stopped advancing. Generals who once planned conquest now plan evacuation routes and planetary shields. For the first time in recorded history, the galaxy prepared not for war with itself, but for survival. Humanity moved quietly. No grand announcements followed their warning. No flags were planted. No fleets gathered in open display. Instead, human ships appeared where they were needed most, near unstable stars, along ancient trade routes, at the edges of deep, dark space. They did not interfere. They did not command. They watched. Commander Thrall followed these movements closely. His ship now served as a liaison, carrying messages between fearful empires and the calm observers from Earth. One truth became clear very quickly. Human ships did not act like anyone else's. They did not patrol aggressively. They did not respond to threats with threats. They simply existed, and chaos avoided them. Then one day, the galaxy's fear became real. At the far edge of known space, a system went dark. No explosion. No distress call. Just silence. Scouts arrived hours later. A star was gone. Not destroyed. Consumed. Sensors showed traces of something impossible. Space folded inward, pulled tight, as if reality itself had been eaten. This matches the ancient warnings, an analyst said quietly in a distant council chamber. Panic spread. Fleets mobilized. Refugees fled. Empires argued. But before the galaxy could fall apart, a new signal appeared. Human. Clear. Calm. We have confirmed the presence, humanity said. This is the entity we warned you about. Images followed. A vast distortion moving between stars. No shape. No center. Just hunger. It feeds on disorder. Humanity continued. War accelerates it. Fear strengthens it. The galaxy held its breath. We will engage. Humanity said. No cheers followed. Only silence. Human ships moved, not in massive numbers, but in precise formations. They did not chase the entity. They guided it. Fields activated. Space hardened. Reality itself resisted the intruder. For the first time, the entity slowed. Then it reacted. Systems trembled. Stars dimmed. Time itself seemed unsure. Human defenses did not break. They adapted. Layer after layer of ancient technology unfolded. Technologies built not for destruction, but for endurance. This is not a battle, Commander Thrall realized. This is containment. The entity struck harder. Humanity responded by tightening the net. Finally, with a movement felt across the galaxy, the entity was pushed, not destroyed, beyond the edge of known space. The stars grew quiet again. Human ships powered down. The message that followed was simple. The threat has been delayed, humanity said, not ended. The galaxy exhaled. Celebration tried to rise, but humanity stopped it with final truth. This will happen again, they said. Perhaps not soon. Perhaps not in your time. A pause. But now you know. Human ships did not remain. One by one, they returned to quiet positions. Some withdrew entirely. Others stayed, unseen, watching. The galaxy began to rebuild, not in fear, but with purpose. Old rivals signed agreements. Shared defenses replaced private armadas. Knowledge was exchanged instead of hidden. Earth did not demand thanks. Earth did not accept praise. Humanity returned to silence. But it was a different silence now. A respected one. Commander Thrall stood on his ship's bridge, watching her from afar one last time. The blue planet looked unchanged. Still calm. Still small. And yet, it had reshaped everything. The galaxy will remember this day, an officer said. Thrall nodded slowly. Yes, he replied, but not as a day of terror. He looked at the distant planet. As the day we realized we were not alone and never truly had been. Far below Earth's clouds, human cities continued their lives. Children learned. Scientists studied. Guardians watched the stars. Humanity did not see itself as heroes, only as caretakers. And somewhere beyond the edge of everything, the universe waited, because now it knew the truth. The galaxy did not fear humanity because it was powerful. The galaxy feared humanity because when the universe needed someone to stand, humanity did.